Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. So, today we are going to do a couple of things with envelopes. Okay, so we're going to make this, which is just a kind of different way to fold an envelope. I've actually stuck this one down with the sealing wax, but we're going to make this, and we're going to make a double envelope, which is great for if you're going to put it in a signature, so you can sew it down the middle, and then you've got two envelopes. Okay, or you can have it as like a little pocket, fold it up and hold it together somehow, velcro, dot, whatever, but I'll show you them. Okay, really, both of them really simple. You'll think, why on earth did I watch Dave do that? But hey, you're here. So let's make the double envelope first, and then we can get all crazy with the other one in a minute. So the double envelope, you'll need a square piece of paper. So by square, that means it is the same wide as it is long, just in case you're wondering what a square is, Dave. It's not for your benefit, guys, it's for my benefit. So let me just measure how wide this sheet of paper is, and I will then have the other way the same width. So it is roughly 11.5 inches. So if I go 11.5 inches, which one shall I use? I'll use that. Sorry, 11.5 inches. I like this bit better. That's what I was thinking. And then my brain was processing, which way do I put that in? It's been a long weekend, I will tell you now. Helped move. Me and Brian actually helped move Vic into his new place. So for the last 2 days I've been driving and carrying and lifting, and I cannot tell you how much my legs ache, which is understandable, my arms ache, understandable, but my hands, wow, my hands are so painful. I cannot tell you how painful they are. It makes me wince just using them. So but I needed to make some videos for you guys, so here I am doing this. So yes, so if my brain's not working, that's why. The first night I had 3 hours sleep. The night before, so we moved him on Saturday, so Friday night I had 3 hours sleep, and then Saturday night I thought, oh, I'll sleep like a log, but no, I didn't. I slept for 6 hours, and then last night, it's Sunday today, last night I slept for 8.5 hours, and then I was going to do some more videos. This is my first video, and it's something like 10:30 at night. And sorry, I won't carry on doing this until you're kind of with me. And I fell asleep on the sofa, so it's 10:30 at night, and I'm starting my first video. So I won't do the 3 videos that I normally do on a Sunday, because I've been so exhausted. So I'll try and catch up during the week. So if there's an interruption to the every other day service, you'll know why. So what we've done now is, now that we've established it's square, I'm just going to do a pencil line through the middle. Now the pencil line isn't necessary, it's just there to help you guys see what I'm doing, but also you might want to put it in because it just helps you line everything up. Okay, so now you've got your pencil line, have it so that it's a diamond shape towards you. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to fold this corner up to just past the middle line. So if you put that across there, that is the center line, that bit there. So this edge of this ruler is the center line. So you want this corner to go up just past there, about an inch past it. Make sure that it kind of sits on that center line, so the point is on that center line. Okay, and then you're just going to put that into place with a score. 2-1. No, that's another kind of score. So put that in there. Yeah, so once you've done that, let's see, I'm telling you this is going to be super easy. You're going to go, oh, I know what it's doing. So now you turn it round and you have it this way, and so it does look like a diamond. It looks like a faceted diamond. And now you're going to fold this up, and again we're just going to move that out of the way for now. I'm going to put that across there so you can see that center line. A bit wonky because we lost half of the page, so we kind of know roughly that's the centre line. Yep, and we're going to take this corner, I'm going to fold it up to the centre line there, and we're going to put a fold in that. Yep, and then we're just going to do that, and there we go. So that's kind of the basics of your envelope. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, so you could just turn these into an envelope. If you want to go a little bit further and make it a bit more envelopey, if you have an envelope board, then deploy this, which I do, and I will use, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Is I opened it up, and you don't have to do this. You could just put a notch in, so this will make that envelope divot in the corner, and I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute. But if you don't have that and you wanted to just take that extra bulk out on that folded corner, you could just use a rounder, so a corner rounder. If you just put that over that corner and you snip it out, it will do pretty much the same thing. Okay, so we're going to use this because I'll show you this way, and then we'll do it the other way because you know me, I'll always make two envelopes so it makes it easier for you to see. So this is my envelope board. I'm putting this point on this line that I've folded, and I'm just going to punch, and then I'm going to turn it around 90 degrees. Now you notice here that this line goes this way and there's nothing to give me a guide this way, so I just flip it over and I do it, put it on that line, and I just punch. Yeah, and then we're going to turn it around again, and we're going to do that next line that we can actually see this time, and then we're going to flip it back over, and we're going to do that final one just there. Okay, so that gives us our divots. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to decide, okay, so that's, do we want to put anything on here or do we want to cover it? So if you look at mine, I covered the middle of mine with a further diamond. If you want to do that, then do that. If not, do you want this corner to be rounded? And if you don't, if you're happy for it not to be, then leave it. But I like these corners to be round, points to be rounded. So I just put them in there. I don't think I can do this one because there isn't anything left of it. Oh no, there we go. The corner is no longer there. So, okay, so now we've put those in. What we want to do then is we just want to put where this line is. You see where this divot ends? Here and here. Okay, we just want to put a line in there. And that's going to be our fold across the top. I'm going to do the same on the other side, just at the top of that divot. And then fold that over, and that's going to be the other one. Okay, so we've got basically our basic shape of our envelope in. Now the middle bit, if you do want to put the middle bit in, it's literally just a smaller square of paper. So I have some paper somewhere. You can use whatever you like. You can make it, remember I like the utilitarian, it's functional look, so I'm just going to use a bit of book page. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is just make this a piece square. Now you could, if you wanted to, make it, punch out a circle. Okay, so you could do a circle, for instance. Well, you could if your thing chomps it better. So you put your circle and just put your circle over. Now I don't have a big enough circle punch for that, but if you did have, or you've got a die, then do that. But I was happy with my square, so that folded corner. Oh well, let's just cut that bit off. Just cut that bit off. Just cut that bit off. There we go. Get rid of those bits. Won't keep them. Got tons of book pages. I have literally got tons of book pages. So I'm going to go for about 2 3/4 inches square. I was going to say wide and then long, but like just say square, Dave. Same thing. Okay, take those bits out. So I've got this square piece of paper, and that can sit over there then, you see. In fact, I might do it that way round. Yeah. And then all I'm going to do is just going to chomp off those corners. You know, you'll have a corner around it anyway. Most people do. And if you don't, best thing to do is to use... Oh, honestly, that punch just wants to be in frame all the time. If you don't, use like a loyalty card or something like that. They always have rounded corners, and you just use that, butt it up against the edge and just cut round it. So we're going to put that on there, but what we're going to do first is we're just going to glue this bit down. So best thing to do is mark yourself a very light pencil line. Yeah, you can always cut it off. Rub it out. Don't cut it off. That would be a mistake, Dave. So just going to go up to the edge of my pencil line, not inside the envelope, because you don't want to glue the envelope shut. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there, hold that over and glue that down. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put that on there, and we know that basically we need to do it all the way around except for just a little bit on either corner. So you can kind of just go like that and like that, and then just put your glue on everywhere else. So we're just going to go all the way over and get it all nice and gluey. Pop this on. Remember which corners you haven't glued, so you don't put them in the wrong place. Pop them there. Put that down, and there we go. That's it. So, and then all you want to do now is you just want to fold that over into half. So literally fold the two edges to meet each other, and then just put a fold in that line there. So like I say, you could make this into a little notebook holder. That paper's coming apart, so let me just glue that bit down. There we go. So you could sew it in the middle, you could glue it down the middle if you wanted to, you could staple it, you could do whatever, or if you're going to put it into a signature, you could, you could leave it, because you're sewing it in, it's going to be two separate parts anyway. Or you can just leave it as it is. So, and then if you wanted to have it as a separate piece, fold it over, and then you could have something to keep these closed. So you could use some Velcro dots, and then you could put another Velcro dot here and here, and you've got a little pop open somewhere to put stuff. Okay, so that is the double envelope one. So let's do that one again, so you can see that again. So you can see there's no tricks. I try on these things, I do try to do it in one take, because then you can see there were no tricks involved. I haven't just jumped to another step. One of the things that I find with some of these like 5-minute craft videos is they often miss a step, because they don't want you to see how complicated it is. They want you to get engagement, and some other YouTubers do the same thing. So, but I don't, because I want you to see. So, like I say, you can put your pencil line in. You're not going to see it when you've finished. It's not going to be a problem. So if you want to put a pencil line in, put a pencil line in. If you don't, you want to go all freehand, then go all freehand. I'm going to put that pencil line in so you can see that's my center line. Okay. If you put a pencil line in this way, you will see it, because remember, these are the bits that are going to stick out, so you'll see the pencil line across there. But you could always rub it out if you want to put that one in, or you can just do like I do and just put your ruler on that center line, and that way then you know that this corner has to come up past there. So I'm going to go like that, put that on there, and put a crease in that bit. So I'm going to make this one without an envelope board this time. I'm going to turn it round, and then we've got that diamond, that faceted diamond, and then we're going to put our ruler on that pencil line again, like that, and we're going to pull this up past that. Let's just open that up, sorry. Helps if you open it up, because then you can see that middle line, that centre line. Centre line there. Pull it up past there, get that point on that centre line. And there you go. And put that in. Right, okay, so we're working with no envelope board this time. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to take a little divot. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our punch up the other way. We're using a small punch, and just on where the very point, let me just put a line on this so you can roughly see where the crease is. So that's where the crease is. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that line, the very tip of that line should be in the center of your circle, or there or thereabouts. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're just going to do that. And you're going to do the same on this one. I won't bother with the pencil line because you know what I've just said. So I'm going to do the same. And keep going round until you've got it all the way round, and it'll do pretty much the same thing as having an envelope board. There we go. So let me just show you. So a half circle, well, just a fraction under a half circle compared to what shape you get with an envelope board. So you get like a rounded square, whereas this is a circle. It's you know, the difference is negligible when you're making something like this. So what we do is we flip these over like this, okay, and then we're going to glue this down. Remember what we did was we just put a pencil line in, just so that we know where the glue is going to go to. Put our glue up to there and around. I'm using it very sparingly. You can see how very little I'm using here. Close that up. Stick it down, okay, and then we're going to make a middle bit. So we're going to make a middle bit out of, I don't know, let's use a bit of maybe a bit of file folder. Why not? I've got it to hand. It's perfect. Again, we're going to go for 2.5. 2.5, and then we're going to go 2.5 this way. Okay, and we're just going to take those corners off, and we're just going to use a corner rounder. Somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. Corner arounder. There we go. All the way around. Perfect. So we've got this like square. I'm going to stick there. And you don't, like I say, you don't need to do this. It's just a folly, I would say. For me, it just adds a little something, but it doesn't. You certainly don't need to do it. The only thing we're going to make it difficult for is folding it when we do the folding it in half. But we're brave. We'll just go for it. So I'm going to get a square-sided ruler in. Just make sure that we get it in the middle first before I make that fold. Before I commit, I'm going to just do corner to corner first. Corner to corner. Pop that there. And then just pop that in there whilst we make that fold. Just to make sure that that piece of cardboard bends straight, doesn't buckle. There we go. Because, you know, if you're using cardboard, you might just need to give a bit of a bit of encouragement. Right, okay, so this time we've done that, and now this time I will fold these in lastly. So they're just going to fold over like that. And again, like that. Perfect. Fold it over. There we go. So we've made one with an envelope board and one without. So no excuse. Anybody can do these. So this is the one with an envelope board. This is the one without. Okay. So like I say, you can round those corners off. You can leave them as they are. You could put another shaped divot in it. You can do what you like. It's yours. If anybody says anything, send them my way, and I'll tell them. If they don't like it, make their own. There we go. So that's those two. Okay, like I say, really simple. No excuse not to make that. So that's, you're going to get a 2 for today. 2 for 1 today. 2 for 1 Sunday. So to make this one, it's even simpler. I know you're going to say, what? It can't possibly be simpler than that. It is much simpler. You're going to need a rectangle of paper this time. So whether that be an A4 sheet of paper like I've got, or it could be a US letter, which is 8.5 by 11, I believe. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it over, but I'm not going to fold it. And the reason for not folding it is then you don't get a line down the center of here. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to follow that top edge, and pinch, and then follow the bottom edge and pinch, and that'll just give me my center line without giving me a center line. So now what you're going to do is you're going to fold this. Sorry, I nearly folded it the wrong way. You're going to fold this by holding your finger on that center fold, and then bend this down to line up with this line, this bit here. It won't meet it, so don't expect it to meet it. You want it to be there or thereabouts, and you're going to put that line in, and we're just going to do bone fold it, and then we're going to take this corner and we're going to fold that one up, and we're going to again make sure that we don't cross that center line. We fold it up. I'm going to put that line in. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this corner and fold it up to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it, and we're going to fold it so that these two bits, so this corner where we've folded it over and this corner where we've folded it over, marry. So that means that this straight line will meet this straight line. And then that way, then this line will also meet up. So pop it up there, just so that it meets. Don't overshoot it, but just so that it meets, and then put that line in. Yeah, and then you're going to fold this down, and you're going to fold this over, and you're going to get it on that corner. Yeah, so again, you might want to put your finger there, and you're going to bend this down. Now don't worry about this bit sticking out. I'll tell you why in a minute, because we're just going to sort that out in a second. You're going to put that in. That's going to be where your fold goes. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to bend it back in on itself, and that way then it doesn't get in the way. There we go. So that's basically our envelope. So now what we need to do is just going to strengthen all of those bits, and then we can decorate it. So let's make this look gorge, shall we? Gorgeous. Why not? Let's make it look gorgeous. If we're going to make it look gorgeous. Right, just need to find myself a piece of paper. Be back in a second. So, piece of paper, sorted. That's easy. Just going to take a piece and we're going to make a little thing. A thing. We're just going to make a thing. Now, best way to make a thing is to tear it. I like it torn because it gives me a much more inky edge. So these lines would cut, the side ones, but the top and bottom were torn, and they give it that fibrous edge, which means that you get a nicer a nicer coating of ink. I'm just going to tear it. I'm going to tear it into shape. So this time I'm going to tear all the sides down. And it might not be perfect, but we don't mind not having perfection, do we? Is that sort of about the right size? Yeah, that's fine. So how did I get the corners? Literally, again, get our corner, our circle punch, put that in so that the corner of the circle is in the middle of the circle. Sorry, the corner of the square is in the middle of the circle, like that. And then we just pop it. Sorry for the three-dimensional. It's good. Hopefully you weren't watching it in 3D and you felt like that piece of paper was flying towards you. There we go. Put that all the way around. Okay. And then we're going to ink it, because we like to do the inky thing. And I literally, this is what I did last time, just did this. Did the same with the cornery bits. Didn't bother, inking a dauber and that sort of thing. Nessun Dorma. Oh God. Nessun Dorma in my mouth, in my mind now. Nessun Dorma. Yeah, shh, Dave. There we go. Messy doorbell. There we go. And that's going to be our label. Get my words out. So we're going to put, I don't know, $73. Northbridge, I don't know, Northbridge Road. Ecclesthwaite. I don't know where that is. I don't even know if it's a place. Limster. That's it. I'll leave it at that. They didn't have postcodes back in the day, did they? So, or zip codes, as you guys over in America call them. We call them postcodes. I'm just going to glue this down. So you need to do this kind of thing before, because it just makes it easier to stick it down than when you've got your thing on the back. But I'm going to show you a different way anyway with the thing. And then for the stamp, all I used was, I've got some of this washi tape, or you could make some stamps. I've made stamps before. If I remember, I'll link it in the description. When I made stamps, I make giant stamps and ordinary size stamps, and you can make whatever size stamp you like. You can stamp to your heart's content. And then I just made it look a little bit older, bit of a rub over, pop it off, put your stamp on. There we go. Then I used, this is just a round stamp. It doesn't actually say, it's not actually a postage stamp, but all I did was I just lightly pressed it so it doesn't actually print it properly. And then I took my other, so you remember these that I make, so this is the outer wall of a cardboard coffee cup, and I just rub that on there, and then we just lightly press that on there, and you get the wavy lines off it, so it gives it that kind of, looks like it's been through the postal system look. Okay, so this time, instead of making it so that it's actually stuck down, we're going to make it so it's a bit more practical. Okay, practical, Dave. You do practical. I don't know that you know how. So what I'm going to do for the time being is I'm just going to make a punch. I'm going to make a circle. And we're going to put our wax on this. Now I'm going to do some wax. So, right, this is going to be fire. If you're a pyromaniac and you've been given a restraining order for using fire, this is not the craft for you. If, however, for some reason, people still let you play with fire, like me, then your luck's in, because like we'll just do this. So, well, let's use the B. Oh, hello. Just screw that on there. So, a couple of things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a bit about health and safety. You know me, a bit obsessed about health and safety. We've got some ceiling wax in green. Do we want green? No, it's going to be too much green. Well, no, we could go green. The problem is, if we go green, we might not get a pure green. Well, we won't get a pure green because that's currently red. So we'll have a marbled red. Happy with that? Well, I don't care whether you're happy or not. We're doing it. So, couple of things. I always have something to stir it with. And use a cocktail stick. Please keep your cocktail stick away from the naked flame when it is lit, because once you've put wax on it, you're making it like a wick. Okay. When you light your flame, make sure dogs, pets, people are away from you, and you have a clear area around it. Don't have bits of paper overhanging or anything that could catch, okay, light. I'm going to put it off to one side, and that's simply because my iPhone is hanging above us, and that's what's doing the filming. I don't want my iPhone to overheat from the heat. It won't, it's not going to be, not barbecuing or anything, but there could be some residual heat. So your stamp, your wax seal stamp, you just need to make sure it's available. If you've got some ice to hand, it helps cool it down, so stick it in some ice. So if you do if you put a bowl with some ice in it, and you put some like cling film over the ice so it's not actually getting wet, you can stick that in. Doesn't matter if it won't affect the wax if it's wet, but what it might do is it might affect your project if it's wet. So just put that line in and then just sit that in. But if you've got brick, I just keep mine on the brick. We're also going to do the sealing on the brick, and the reason for that is if it's on a cold surface, it will set quicker. So we're going to light this now. I did say we're going to keep it away from shot and then bring it further in. Make sure you have a long-handled something to be able to do it with. Trust me, you'll have to trust me that that's a light. It is a light. I'll take this off first, and you can see. There you go. It is a light. So we're going to melt this and put that onto here. Okay. If your brick is particularly useful brick, Mavis is a very useful brick. I don't want Mavis to get upset because this brick is called Mavis. Okay, so don't want the brick to get upset, but if you're worried about getting her dirty, then maybe cover her in something first. So, but what we're going to do is we're just going to wait until this melts. Now, like I say, the reason for the stirry stick is regardless of if you're just using one solid colour or not, you might need to give it a stir to kind of help it to melt, because it'll be like if you were doing chocolate in a bain-marie. It will, chunks of it, the outer parts will melt quicker, and then you need to stir it to make sure it all kind of gets combined and you don't get lumpy, like unmelted bits. And that'll be the same with our wax. So, other thing to remember is, depending on what kind of crucible you use, that's what this little thing is called, a crucible. Some of them have a wooden handle, so it's a bit more thermally insulated. The metal ones aren't so much, but if you hold it on the very edge, you should be fine. This one doesn't have a lip on it, this one does, but this one, as you can see, has been used before, and it's got a variety of interesting colours in there. It's like like a unicorn has melted in there. So and so yeah, so you just want to make sure that you're gonna, if you're gonna melt in there, you've got to remember that that will also melt, and that will start to contaminate the colour that you get. So we could end up with a muddy brown. We could end up with green and red streaks. We don't know what will happen until we do it. Okay, so we've just got to wait now. Got to be a little bit patient, and while we're waiting, then I'll tell you what's been happening. So, because I've been moving, Vic. I borrowed a van from work. I've done, it feels like hundreds of miles round trip. I was out all day yesterday just driving, because it's Vic's first home on his own. He didn't have all of the things, so we've gone. So between Friday is when he moved. So it was Thursday night that I didn't sleep. So Thursday night I slept for 3 hours. Friday night I slept for 6 hours, and then last night I slept for 8.5. So yeah. So yes, he moved on Friday. On Friday we went to go and pick up a washing machine, a tumble dryer, from various different places. What else have we also picked up? And then Saturday, we picked up a fridge, and we picked up some side tables, and we picked up, I can't remember what the other thing was. It was another piece of furniture. Some bedside tables they were, or nightstands, as I know a lot of people call them. Nightstands. I can't remember what the other thing. Well, chest of drawers. So we've done a lot. I've done a lot of driving, so I was a bit shattered, to be fair. And obviously then lifting all of those things. He happened to buy like a really expensive it would have been really expensive washing machine, like a very posh washing, like one of the more expensive brands, which of course means that they're extra heavy. But he got it for £50. It's a second-hand one, obviously, but it was very heavy. We had to carry it down a flight of stairs down into the basement, which obviously you can tell I was really impressed by. Stop doing that, Dave. Stop putting that there. So it was an interesting day, and I do feel a little bit. Thank goodness. I mean, like, I know moving is stressful, but I thought moving was stressful if it was you that was moving. I didn't realise it was stressful for everybody else. And then Brian was at Vic's home yesterday, while we were out and about going to pick up the things that he'd bought, and Brian was sorting out the heating, because it's a new heating system for Vic. I'd never seen it before. We didn't have the instructions, so that's what Brian was doing. So this is going to be an interesting muddy colour, by the way, but we don't mind. It's fine. You guys might mind. It might be a bit more kind of burgundy than. Oh well, it's fine. I don't mind. Don't mind what colour it is, to be fair. So now it's kind of melted. Yeah, you want to make sure there's no lumps in it. So now it's melted. What you're going to do is we're going to move it across to here, and we're going to pour it, and then we're just going to put that on top of it. We're going to leave it. We're going to rest it on there. We are not going to press it down and wiggle it or anything like that, like I've seen some people do. You literally are going to pour this onto here and then rest this on there, and that's all we're going to do. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, let me just get a piece of non-stick paper. The reason why I want to get the non-stick paper is we might have a little bit of overspill, and it's not because I want to protect Mavis, it's because I want to keep the overspill. So I don't want, so if it does overspill the wax, then I can keep it, I can cut round it. So okay, so this is getting hot now. It's been on there a long time. So I'm going to pour that onto there. I'm just going to tip it out, and we're going to leave it, and you're not going to try and get a perfect circle. You're going to pop that on, and you see we are going to have a bit of seepage now, and you're not going to get that perfect circular shape that you see all the time, and that makes it, for me, makes it look much more authentic than having it being a perfect circle. Don't worry about not having a perfect circle. It's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to be upset with you about it. Okay, so how to clean these? Okay, you might want to put it back on the wax. Oh, sorry, on the heat for a while. Okay, don't let it boil unless you're planning to save your castle by tipping boiling wax over the side of it. But then what you'll need is a cloth or something that you don't mind ruining, because once you put wax on it, you're not going to really get it out. So I've got a wet cloth here, okay, and a wet cloth is better because obviously it's not going to then catch light, because that's going to be very hot on here. You don't want to be wiping it off with any kind of paper, because paper could in fact catch light, and also it's not very thermally insulating. So all I'm going to do is going to put that over to here and put my finger in there with a bit of thing on the end of it, a bit of cloth on the end of it, and we're just going to wipe it. Now if you try and wipe it when it's dry, it will be an impossibility, because it will just be a solid lump of wax. Okay, and then once you've got most of it out, you can just need to put it back on there, let it heat up again a bit, and then you can wipe that out. Now that's the best thing to do. See, it goes like this lump of, it's not really wax. I will just point out it is these days more like molten plastic, so it is extremely hot. It's not just, do not think of it as wax. You know how with wax you can pop your finger into it and it might be a bit warm, but it won't burn you. This will burn you. This is not wax. This is wax, simulated wax. So it's basically plastic, molten plastic. Okay, so what you don't want to do is you don't want to get it anywhere. Okay, so once your crucible is fairly clean, it's never going to get completely clean. It'll never look like the way it did before. Okay, and then we're just going to blow this out. Okay, so hopefully my smoke alarm won't go off. And if it does, well, tough. So this, once it's been there for a while, move it up. Probably feels a bit warm underneath there. Move it up to a cold bit, and then it'll help with the setting process of it. Like I say, don't press, don't wiggle, don't do any of that. You're literally just using the weight of it. That's why they're quite heavy. That's why you don't get the plastic versions, or you get these, because they are designed to be the right weight to make the imprint. Okay, so don't press it down. If you press it down, what actually you're doing is you're making the wax plastic too thin, and it makes it very brittle. As you can see from here, this is quite flexible, okay, because it's not too thin. If it goes too micro thin, it will be fragile. Okay, so how do we know whether it's finished or not yet? If you can lift it off like it just did, then it's ready. If you try to lift it and it's still, it's like clinging onto the underside of the stamp, then it's not finished. Okay, so there we go. We've got that off, and now all we're going to do is we're just going to peel it away at the back bit, and we're going to cut that bit. So we're only doing it on the edges, and we're going to keep it on the paper, and that way then it gives it a bit of support, and it gives you somewhere for you to be able to adhere things to it. So if you want to turn this into a clasp of some kind, you want to turn it into, put a sticky thing on the back of it so you can take it off again, then this is the way to do it. Otherwise, if you want to just stick it down, it's fine, but then trying to stick something to the back of this, it does have like a waxy finish to it. You'll find it hard to find things to stick to the back of this. Okay, so now we've got that, what we're going to do is we're going to put some of our dots on it. So we've got our sticky dots. What are they called? These. Yeah, them, Dave. Some of them. Okay, we only need one lot of backs, Dave. So all I do is when I get these is, I should have a sheet of these already, but I put them together first. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Okay, so so now what we've done, now what we've finished and we've peeled it off and we've taken the back off, we've cut it around so you can't see the paper. Just make sure you've got no paper overhangs or anything like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use our sticky dots that we've got. I always put the two parts together. Yeah, we're going to use the sticky dots. Open it up, get the two bits off, and we're going to put this so that I like it so that you can, when you open it up, you can see the clear bit, because the fluffy part is not clear, but the hooky part is. And I'm going to put that down like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that onto there so that it looks like it's that that's doing the business. So I know it overhangs a bit, so I'm going to just put a bit of glue on that paper backing, and we're going to put it down like that. And then that will be, when it's dry, that will be, oh, see, that's why you have to wait until it's dry, Dave. That will be our fastening. So just get it stick down, give it a chance, and then that way then you can open your letter up and unfold it, write whatever you want in there, and fold it back up again. And there we go. So that's another little trick, another little thing to do. Remember, when you're using sealing wax, please be very careful. It is not wax. It will hurt you if you burn yourself with it. So please don't burn yourself with it. I'd never want to show you to do anything where you're going to hurt yourself. Your candle, wait until that's completely cold before you put it away. I always keep all of my wax seals and everything all together. You know, I've used these tubs before, so I keep all of the things together, but I don't put anything in here if I even think it might be a little bit warm. Okay, so just a bit of health and safety for you. I like to keep you safe. Put my stirring stick in there as well. So there we go. So another little project, well, another couple of little projects that you can do that make some envelopey things. So I hope you enjoyed those. I hope you're going to give those a go. If you do give them a go, of course, please just let me know. Let me know that you have. Speak to me in the comments. I like anybody to comment about anything, any ideas you might have or whatever, or you know, or anything, even if like you haven't physically made the thing that I've made, but you just felt inspired by what I've done. I really love to hear from you. So don't forget to give this a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow me if you don't already follow me. So subscribe, and remember that I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And one of those ways is don't burn yourself. All right, folks. So thanks very much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Lots of love to you all. Lots of hugs. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.